Here's what nobody tells you when you start out. Hard work isn't enough. You can grind, sacrifice, and still feel stuck, broke, frustrated, and wondering why nothing's working. I learned that there are brutal truths about business and success no one talks about, and if I knew them sooner, everything would have changed. But the hardest part isn't hearing these truths. It's being willing to accept them before it's too late. So let's break down the 30 truths that I wish I knew as a new agent that would have helped me build a 7-figure business in a fraction of the time. Number 1, spend money to save time, not time to save money. Time is the most precious commodity out there because you cannot get it back, but you can always get more money. Every successful agent I've ever seen invests into themselves to learn from other people's mistakes. They buy courses, training, they get coached, they go to events in order to follow a proven process to go straight to what works, instead of what broke agents do, which is they would rather spend endless amounts of hours, weeks, months, and years to learn something they could have learned immediately if they just spent money to get their time back and go straight to what works. Number 2, you live the life you focus on. And whether or not you think you can do something, you are right. So if you spend all of your time thinking, woe is me, I'm not getting enough clients, why am I not winning listings, why is this not working out, and you're always in the gutter, that's exactly the life that you're gonna live. You get what you focus on. Whereas if you count your blessings and think about, wow, I get to work for myself, create my own schedule, create a massive impact, help other people with the biggest investment in their life, that's how you're going to operate, out of passion, excitement, energy. And whether or not you think you can do something, you're right. So if you're constantly telling yourself that this isn't going to work for me, it's not going to work for you. But if you do say, hey, this is a process, I'm going to learn it and it will work for me, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, then it will work for you. 3, you don't manage time, you manage your energy. This is really critical because everybody has the same 24 hours in a day, but your energy levels change and fluctuate. So for me, I have the most energy in the morning. That's where I get all of my critical tasks done now, which is before noon, between 7 a.m. and noon. I go to the gym first thing in the morning at 5 a.m., then I get to work. You need to do the hardest, most income producing activities, prospecting, lead generation, client follow-up, content creation, during the hours that you have the most energy so that you can make the most effective use of the time. 4, simple scales, complex fails. Anytime I hear an agent, and I've trained over 7,000 of them, that say that they're overwhelmed and they're distracted, it's because they're trying to do too many things. The man who chases 2 rabbits catches none, and they're trying to be dabbling in all these different activities instead of just mastering one of them. And that's why it's really critical to keep things simple. Real estate is a very simple business. That doesn't mean it's easy, because the activities that you need to do to scale your business are difficult, like prospecting, like creating content, but it's very simple in nature. And if you just focus more on the simple things instead of trying to make it more complex by chasing all these shiny pennies, your business will scale. 5, model then modify. Over 7,000 agents have gone through my social media training and artificial intelligence training, and there's one commonality across all of the ones that win. They just followed the blueprint exactly. If you are part of training, coaching, mentorship, or you've watched a YouTube video that lays out exactly what to do, just do that. Every time I've seen somebody fail, they say, oh, I'm going to do it my way. Once you see tangible results from something that has worked for other people, then you personalize it, then you modify it. But in the beginning, just do exactly what has been proven to work for other people. 6, be patient with results, but impatient with action. Action is a determining factor of whether or not somebody is going to succeed. The problem is so many people put all of their expectations on the results versus the action. All that you need to do is focus on doing the right things every day, and the results will come. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. But so many people say that if I don't get a result within X period of time, then the actions aren't working. But what you'll see is that if you do the actions for long enough, it always works out. You just need to focus on the right steps, which will lead to the outcome. 7, don't waste your time on hypothetical problems that haven't even happened. I see this constantly. Maybe an agent's looking to start a YouTube channel and they say, well, what if I get a bad comment? You haven't gotten a bad comment. Maybe an agent's looking to start cold calling. Well, what if somebody yells at me? Nobody's yelled at you. So many people always focus on the what ifs as a deterrent from focusing on what we said previously, doing the right actions. and you spend all of this time worrying about the hypothetical that may not ever even happen. Focus on what you can control, which is today, the present, what is currently happening, and allow that to guide your actions. But don't get so consumed about what ifs, what could, because half the time, actually the majority of the time, it never even happens. 8, focus stands for follow one course until successful. I've polled thousands of agents, and one of the most common things that they struggle with is distraction, is overwhelm. And that's because, again, they're trying to do so many things where they don't realize what focus actually represents. Focus is on one specific tangible thing. And if you look at stats, on average, it says whenever you get distracted, it takes about 25 minutes to get your focus back on the activity that you were supposed to be doing. And oftentimes people are going to look at the day and they're going to spend an hour on, figuring out what content they should create, but then an hour on designing something on Canva, and then an hour on this. Whereas if you just had one critical outcome and you put all of your energy in that outcome, your business is going to scale. 9, be the smallest person in the biggest room. This is so important because you're a product of your environment. And if you're surrounding yourself with a bunch of other agents that are constantly complaining about the market, always complaining about not having business, saying social media doesn't work, fearing about where AI is going to be taking the industry, then that's exactly who you're going to become. But that's also why I created the Wolf Pack. And if you want to book a call with me, you can chat about joining our ecosystem. You can click the link in the description. But the people that have partnered with me, all of the top producers are sharing their best idea. All of the struggling agents are learning from the best. All of the people in my group are excited about the future. How can we leverage AI? How can we get ahead? Nobody's complaining about the market. They're all taking ownership of their business, and that's why they're scaling. 10, working hard means doing what scares you. So many people will get to the end of a long day and they'll say, I just worked so hard. Where's the tangible results? Where's the activity? Where is the hard work? Because long hours, and we'll get to this later on, long hours doesn't mean it's hard work. If you're doing something that keeps you in your comfort zone, then that's not hard. That's just work. But what you realize is the activities that actually scale your business the most are the hardest. It's content creation. It's learning new skills like artificial intelligence. It's prospecting. It's following up with clients. It's all the things that are actually hard. And what you'll realize is when you get to the end of a hard day doing the hard activities, you're going to feel so much more accomplished and you'll actually be able to feel the momentum in your business. 11, doubt kills more dreams than failure does. So many people doubt whether or not that they're going to be able to achieve something. I see this all the time with people that are, considering getting into my YouTube program or something like that. And they always find a way to make themselves feel like the special snowflake that nothing's going to work out for, right? Yes, I've trained over 7,000 agents. I've created all these success stories, hundreds of agents. Every person that has followed exactly what I've shared has gone on to build a successful business. But every single month, I see agents that are finding and trying to justify why it's not going to work for them, why they're the unique unicorn that nothing works for. And what you realize is all that is a reflection of self-doubt. And it's not a matter of whether or not you're going to fail. You're not even going to fail because you're not even going to try. 12, you teach people how to treat you. One of the things that most agents struggle with is boundaries. And they'll say, hey, clients are calling me at all hours of the day. It's 11 p.m., it's 9 p.m., it's the weekend, I'm traveling, whatever. And they'll be on this device. Why? The reason being is that you've taught them how to treat you. Whenever you set the expectations in the beginning, you probably told them, I'm here available 24/7. You can contact me anytime. I'm here sun up to sundown. I'm going to do whatever it takes to help you get the result that you're looking for, buying, selling, relocating, whatever. Well, if you tell them that, you can't complain when they do that. Whereas if you say, hey, I've got a family after 7 p.m., unless it's an emergency, then I'm going to be spending time with my family. If something urgent comes up, just text me, we'll get to it. But setting boundaries is really critical. If you look at a lawyer, for example, you're not going to be able to get in touch with them after 5 p.m. Well, nobody's going to complain that you're calling them at 8 p.m. and they're not responding. They set those boundaries. And that's teaching you how to treat them. And you need to do the same with your clients. 13, your income is a direct reflection of your standards and your habits. Anytime I've seen an agent struggle, it's very easy to figure out why they're struggling. I ask them to pull up their calendar and it pretty much reveals the exact answer. So what you'll realize is that maybe you're making $50,000 a year. If you want to make $250,000 a year, all that you have to ask yourself is, what would that person at $250,000 a year be doing? Well, they probably would be generating leads every day. They probably would follow up with those leads. They would probably be building their brand. They would be leveraging new technology to stay on top of where the industry is heading. They would probably follow through with what's in their calendar, meaning they're disciplined. They would have clarity on their priorities. There's a list of things that somebody making that money would be doing. Then go do that. That's their standards, that's their habits. And so if you're making less than you would like to, that is a direct correlation to your standards and habits every day. 14, expectations destroy happiness. I see this constantly. Agents again will say, I'm going to try this activity. Maybe it's launching a YouTube channel, but if I don't get a client within the first 3 months, it's not for me. I'm going to go to TikTok. I'm going to go cold call FSBOs and expireds, whatever their alternative measure is. And those expectations are fictitiously pulled out of absolutely nowhere. And now you're pretty much guaranteed to be disappointed, because if you don't get a client within that window of time, you're going to stop. I've coached agents that didn't get their first client for the first 13 months of being consistent. But now after they broke through that barrier, they're closing 1, 2, 3, sometimes 4, 5 deals every single month with clients coming directly to them. Well, they didn't say, I'm going to do it until this happens. They said, I'm going to do it forever because it's worked for this man or woman over here. If one can do it, so can I. I'm going to do it until it works out. And the only expectation I'm going to have is on me, that I'm going to do what I can every single time I call, knock, put out a video, record content, to get better every single time, which is something you can control. And if you focus on what you can control versus what you can't control, your business will scale. 15, comparison is the thief of joy. One of the big issues with that is that you're comparing your inside, your reality, to somebody else's social media, which is their external, which is their outside, which is what they're projecting. As somebody that's coached thousands of agents, a lot of those agents that are driving the nice car, wearing the nice watch, are absolutely broke. They're in credit card debt. They have no business. They're putting on a front, and they're making it seem like their life is this marvelous thing, when in reality, they're in the gutter, and they're just projecting that to try and convince themselves not to quit. And so what I'm encouraging you to do is, don't compare yourself to other people, because that is not their reality pretty much 100% of the time. Compare yourself to just yourself. How can you make sure that you are better today than you were yesterday? And if you continue to do that, you'll become unstoppable. 16, confidence comes with action, not before it. Whenever I coach agents on social media, they're always waiting until they feel confident to record that first video. But the reality is you will never feel confident until you start doing the activity. And once you get enough repetitions in, knowing that repetition is the mother of mastery, you will start to feel confident after enough repetitions. But I don't know a single person that has waited to the point where they're confident and actually done well. Because the truth is you're always waiting for this perfectionist thing, which we'll get to. But the reality is that perfection doesn't exist. And just when you feel ready, you're going to realize that since you don't have enough repetitions in, it doesn't matter how long you wait, you're never going to be good straight out the gate. So you might as well suck in the beginning and work toward getting good, instead of waiting to the time where you have confidence, and then you'll realize very quickly that confidence was false. 17, perfectionism is procrastination in disguise. You need to realize that done is better than perfect, and imperfect action forever trumps perfect inaction. There is no such thing as perfection. It does not exist. It will never exist. And thus it's the lowest standard. Here's the craziest part is, in the beginning, you're going to wait until you think something is perfect, and then you're going to put it out. And in 6 months, you're going to realize it was the worst thing that you ever put out. And then in 2 years, you'll realize what you put out in 6 months was the worst thing that you ever put out. You will never reach perfection. And perfectionism not only is subjective, but the reality is people don't want perfect. That's why these artificial intelligence videos, everybody hates them, because they're too perfect. People like raw, authentic, real connections, which comes from your flaws, and there's value in that. So just realize that perfectionism is the biggest excuse that doesn't exist. 18, focus on the 20% that makes the 80% difference. This is the Pareto principle. So what you'll realize historically, and this is proven across data, is that 20% of the things that you're doing yield 80% of your results. Well, do you want to know a little mathematical trick in order to 5x your business very easily? Stop the 80% that's only bringing 20% of the business and do 5 times more of the 20%. Oftentimes, because people don't measure anything, what gets measured gets managed, they can't manage their time because they don't know what, based on what they're investing their time into, is actually bringing results. They're just making assumptions. So they think they're doing these 5 activities and they're all contributing equally, but there is always going to be one activity that contributes astronomically more outsized returns than every other activity that you're doing. If you cut the others and you focus on what's actually bringing results, your business is mathematically going to 5x. 19. Everything is your problem. Not everything is your fault, but everything is your problem. Victim mentality is the number one immediate way I can tell a real estate agent is going to fail. Anytime something is not working out, they blame their broker, their brokerage, their team leader, the market, the economy, the president. They blame everything except for themselves. And what you realize is that only once you take full, complete ownership of everything is when you can control changing it. But if you're constantly pointing the finger and releasing and relinquishing control, you can't change the outcome. So what you need to realize is that even if something is not your fault, it is your problem, and make it your problem so that you can actually take ownership and actually fix it. 20, this is a huge one. You do not get paid for your time or your efforts. You only get paid for your results. So many people invest so much inefficient time and inefficient effort into their business, and they get to the end of these long days, 12, 14, 16-hour days, week after week after week, and then they're wondering why their business isn't growing. It's because you do not get paid for your time or your effort. If you spend 100 hours to get the outcome that your client's looking for, or you spend 10 hours to get the outcome your client's looking for, you get paid the exact same. Truthfully, you'll probably be able to justify a higher commission on the 10 hours versus the 100 because you saved your clients time and thus money and got them the result sooner. So many agents don't realize, with this being a 100% commission business, that you do not get paid for your time and your effort. The only thing that you get paid for is the results. That's why it's important, going back to point number 1, to invest money to save time to learn how to do the right things immediately so that you can spend less time and get faster results for your clients, meaning the outcomes are achieved quicker. 21, your broker will not build your business quicker. This is pretty self-explanatory, but it doesn't matter which brokerage you join, you're not going to win based on the brokerage. You're going to win based on your own work ethic. I'm here at eXp Realty because I believe, looking at the compensation structure, it's the most superior one in the industry by miles, but I would be successful no matter what brokerage I'm at. I would rather just be at the brokerage that I believe, again, has the best compensation structure, the best support, the best training, the best tools, and the best environment for me to build an ecosystem of like-minded agents that are all pouring into each other. 22, your friends and family are not your pipeline. So many new agents get into the industry. I made this mistake where they're expecting that all of their friends, all of their family is going to work with them. But we don't realize that your friends and your family also have prior connections. Here's the truth. The only 2 people that I've been able to help is my parents and my sister. Every friend has worked with a different agent because somebody in their family or their spouse's family was a licensed agent, and that's okay, right? You have to go out and get your own business. But if you're just relying on friends and family to start filling up your pipeline, you're in for a rude awakening. You have to be able to generate your own business. 23, obscurity is your biggest enemy. In real estate, it's no longer the more people you know, the more business you do. The reality is, with social media and the internet, the more people who know you, the more business you do. And if you're invisible or obscure, you're going to have a really difficult time building a sustainable, thriving business that not only is profitable, but also gives you your time back to go actually enjoy the life that you want to live. This is why it's so critical as a new agent to build your personal brand, to identify a niche, get clarity on your unique value proposition, so that way you can start to put out content to allow people to know why they should work with you, why you're the best person to work with for this activity. And that's going to, again, help you become top of mind. And when you become top of mind and build a personal brand, people will come to you because they know you. 24, simple does not equal easy. As I mentioned previously, real estate is a very, very simple business. If you look at it in its most simplest form, it's turning raw attention into your service and it outputs money. Attention in, provide the service, you get money. There's only 3 activities that any real estate agent needs to do: get clients, service clients, and nurture clients. Well, if you don't have any clients, there's only one job that you have to do, which is getting clients. And if we go back to focus, follow one course until successful, you need to do one activity to get those leads. And what you should be doing every single day is waking up and doing that one activity to get business, to even service. But the majority of agents make real estate complex instead of realizing that fundamentally it's very simple. 25, comfort zones are where dreams go to die. Any agent that I've seen that stays in their comfort level continues to struggle year after year after year. Let me explain. I hated video content in the beginning. I was petrified of the camera. I hated the idea of social media. I didn't want to put myself out there similar to everybody. I didn't like how I looked or sounded on camera until you realize that's how you look and sound in reality. And I had a choice. I could either stay broke or I could get outside of my comfort zone. When short form content came out, after I just learned how to become pretty decent at long form content, an entirely new type of content comes out that I'm unfamiliar with, that I'm not good at, that I struggled with. I had to spend years in order to get good at that. And now here we are. Then artificial intelligence comes. Now this is reshaping everything. You have to go back to the drawing board. That is business. And the ones that get comfortable staying outside of their comfort zone are the ones that win. 26, leads don't equal income. Conversations do. So many people think that they've got a lead problem. Generating leads is extraordinarily easy. All that you need to do is run one of the Facebook ads that I have tutorials on my YouTube channel, and you will get leads within the next 24 hours almost 100% of the time. You can go look at the comments on those very videos and you'll see people saying that. Well, generating leads is easy. Converting them into conversations and closed deals is where the magic is won. And that's where you need to start to focus your time, knowing that communication is the number one skill you need to thrive as a real estate agent. You need to focus on actually converting the lead and having conversations with people. The more real estate focused conversations you have, the more deals you're gonna do. 27, discipline beats motivation every time. I don't know one single person that's ever built a successful business that's motivated every time. There is guaranteed to be a lot of days that you wake up, you don't want to do this, you don't feel good, you're burnt out, you're exhausted, you're in the gutter mentally, emotionally, physically. The ones who win do it anyway because they understand discipline. If it's in their calendar, they do the activity. If they have a standard or a certain quota of cold calling, door knocking, content that they need to put out, they do it regardless of how they feel. Any agent that's become a fair weather agent where they do what they feel when they feel like it is broke, 100% of them. But if you start to focus on discipline and just doing the right activities every single day, you're going to win. 28, you can't outwork a bad environment. Again, that's why I encourage you to book a call with me and my team if you want to chat about partnering with us, getting all of my training for free, and surrounding yourself with 2,800 plus agents that are all like-minded, sharing their best strategies and encouraging and helping and supporting you to win, keeping you accountable to your actual potential. Is that if you're surrounded by a bad environment, you are a product of your environment and you'll never be able to outwork that. If you're trying to build your business with a YouTube channel, for example, and everyone at your brokerage is saying YouTube doesn't work or none of them do it, it's going to be really difficult to stay motivated and know what you should be doing. Whereas if you're surrounded by a ton of other people that are doing it the way you want to be doing it, it's a lot easier to stay excited by being in an environment that's conducive to growth. 29, everything works. The work works. If you do the work, it can work out. Everything works. Door knocking, cold calling, FSBOs, expireds, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Google ads, Facebook ads. I've helped the real estate agents achieve massive success with all of these. The work works if you do the work. It's not a matter of if the activity works or not. It's whether you're willing to do the work to make the activity work. And again, every agent that I've ever seen that builds a wildly successful business becomes a master at one thing. So if you're struggling with your business, pick one thing, knowing that everything works, and go all in to make it work. Number 30, you are always the bottleneck. This kind of ties in with taking complete ownership of everything in your business and things being your problem, even if they're not your fault, but you are always the bottleneck. There's always one constraint in your business, and with you being the business owner, you have control over that constraint and whether or not you release the constraint, identify and solve it, or whether you allow it to continue to be a bottleneck in your business. It always comes down to you. You are self-employed. You have complete ownership. So if your business isn't where you would like it to be right now, that's on you. If your business is thriving right now, that's on you. That's the beautiful part about business, is that you get compensated according to your work ethic on both sides, good and bad. So realize that you are always in control of the success of your business and how hard you're willing to work, and follow the other 29 principles. Also, drop a comment below and let me know which of these 30 rules spoke the most and connected the most with you. And if you have any that you've learned along your journey that have made a big impact on your life, drop that in the comment too. I'd love to hear it. Now, if you're a new agent and you want to know how to break 6 figures in the next 12 months and follow a complete roadmap and proven process and system, check out this next video. I walk you through an entire masterclass of exactly how to build your routine, identify which strategies you should leverage and focus on so that you can become a success story.